Hi, thanks for joining everyone. I've just, what's the time? 1:03. Yeah, we should be good to go. I think people are still joining the session, but we'll make a start. So thanks for joining another one of our webinars. We're going to be talking about quite a variety of topics today, actually. We're not going to, we predominantly do focus on the Proactis modules and the suite of modules, which you're probably very familiar with this slide. But I'm just gonna whiz past this today. These are going to be the discussion points really that we're gonna go through. I've got one of my colleagues, Simon Nicholson, who's supporting me today. He's a lot more technical able than I am, as you probably know, so he can talk a bit around SQL and .NET and the tech audit. And some of the other areas. If you've got any questions throughout the session, please just pop them either in the Q&A or the chat. I'm on full screen, so I don't see them, but somebody will obviously get to them, and we can either run through them during the session, or we can just deal with them at the end, or just talk about them at the end. Okay, so P2P product update. So some of these areas do relate to the version of Proactis you're on as well. So as we go through, we will highlight the dependencies between Proactis and some of the items that we've listed here. So we're going to talk a bit about SQL 2016. If anyone is still running it, that's joined the session, obviously it's quite important you reach out, and we'll explain why. .NET 6 is something we have communicated out to you previously. We've sent an email out about it, which hopefully you should be receiving emails from us, and if you're not, obviously let us know. We also covered it in a previous session. So there are dependencies with versions of Proactis and the version of .NET, but obviously .NET 6 is almost end of life and there's a new version. So we'll talk to you a bit about that. The tech audit, which we're offering, which you've probably seen some communication about, it's been in our newsletters as well, and something that we're getting a lot of requests around at the moment, which is access controls and audit. So I thought it was quite important that we touch on RBAC here in the session today, and how we can really help you moving forward with that, and analysing the information, and who's accessing your system. Q&A. Some of you may still be using Q&A. Obviously, we need to talk about that and its end of life. Web PMC functionality. As you patch Proactis, you're probably noticing them releasing more updates, which are relevant only in the PMC. So we just need to touch on that really, just to make sure that you're all comfortable accessing the Web PMC. You know how to access it, because you will need to become more familiar with that. And we've got a couple of other bits on the agenda as well, which is e-invoicing. So we're developing a Proactis connector to deal with e-invoices, and also some other items as well that we've got on there. So I'm just going to whiz through to our next slide. SQL 2016 is out of mainstream support. Simon, feel free to jump in at any point to support me with this, and really the communication that we're trying to get out to our client base.
I can take over if you want to say.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I know that we do still have a few clients who are still running SQL 2016, which at the moment is okay, but you will find that you won't get any updates, any support. If you do have any issues on the databases, Microsoft will do absolutely nothing. So it is kind of a good time to start thinking about planning to upgrade your SQL realistically to something like SQL 22. SQL 2019 is fine, but we are currently advising customers to go up to SQL 2022, which is the best one to do. The biggest risk, obviously, is if you stay on 2016, as I said, you've got things like hot fixes, patches, vulnerability updates, security risks, and also Proactis won't be supported on this version of SQL 2016. So just a flag for you. Yes, July does seem like a long time, but it's nearly November, and I'm just getting used to it not being Christmas. So obviously reach out if you'd like any advice with regard to that. If you're unsure as to what the repercussions might be around other third-party applications using reporting solutions, anything along those lines. What that does neatly slot into is hopefully many of you will have received an email from us regarding a free 2-hour technical audit that we are offering, and so it's just to kind of go through and see what you're using, database sizes, any vulnerabilities, passwords, third-party applications, so on and so forth. So it's actually a very, very good thing, even for those of you that aren't on SQL 2016. It's actually a very good thing for you guys to think about uptaking, to see if any improvements can be made, give you a little bit more visibility, anything that's eating up your data, networking, any differences between your test and live environment, so on and so forth. And we can actually help you move forward with how you can then change your system to make it run a little bit better, and get a little bit more visibility for you on your environment.
Brilliant. So yeah, so we've marked like 2 hours really for the tech review. It might take less, obviously it might take slightly longer, but as Simon said, it's quite an important task and something that gets missed sometimes, really, but it does really highlight any risks that we might see, not just with the environment but also inside Proactis. So we will also look at, you know, your access controls as well, and some of your users, which will lead us on to RBAC, which we're also going to talk about today as well. So please reach out. You can reach out directly to our project office. They're expecting yourselves to reach out. We have had clients already reach out and book their tech audit. So yeah, so please feel free to do that, or you can contact your account manager, and you can do it that way as well. I'm just going to go back a slide. So we jumped from 2016 through to the tech audit, but we've got one in the middle. We've got .NET 6 update.
Apologies.
Right, it's all right. We'll get there in the end. So yeah, so .NET 6 is, I believe, no longer supported, and .NET 8 is the latest version, just the latest supportable version on your environments. Proactis has dependencies on, depending on which version of Proactis you're on, you can't just go and remove .NET 6 because the version of Proactis might have dependencies on that. So if you're planning a .NET 6 removal and a .NET 8 update, we need to make sure that you've got the right version of Proactis to go with that, or you will not be able to access certain elements of the product. So I believe the PMC will not work for you at all. So you have to be very careful. So anything really that you're, you know, reviewing on your environment, on your app server, that you're thinking about removing, obviously, please just feel free to touch base with us first in case there is an impact on Proactis or other applications that you may have.
Just to add to that, CT, sorry, yeah. So what the .NET update is actually part of the later patching for Proactis. So if you are looking that you have got a vulnerability around .NET 6, it would be advisable to patch Proactis as part of that to kind of get the whole benefit of .NET 8 and obviously additional functionality. Sorry.
Brilliant, great. Okay, so again, any questions on that? Or obviously, you know, we did send an email communication out about it a little while ago. We had quite a few of our clients contact us and we've arranged updates for them. If it does affect you, or if you're not sure if it affects you, then obviously let us know and we can have a look at that as part of a tech audit for you as well, if necessary. Okay. Role-based access controls. So this is an interesting one, really. So we get a lot of our clients come to us and they ask us to analyze the users that they've got in the system. So they want to really have like a, I don't know, this topic can range, you know, across the board, really. So it goes from analysing the users that you've got in the system, the permissions, whether you've got standards. So, for example, I've got a set of users that can only inquire. I've got a set of users that can only enter. I've got a set of users that can raise invoices or approvers. And we really want those roles broken down. It extends further. I mean, it extends further in. So, for example, you know, we would recommend you don't use the sysadmin user. We know a lot of clients still do access the application using the sysadmin account, and that in itself would fail audit. So really, it's all about controls and ensuring that you're in a good place within your organization. You're not breaking your audit controls. Really working through and defining the roles and permissions, obviously to meet your business's requirements, but to ensure that there is segregation of duty in certain areas as well, and make sure that users don't have access to areas of the system that they really should not be accessing. As I said, we're getting a lot of requests from organisations for audit reports, reports on who's accessed the system, when they accessed the system, how long they were on the system, what did they do, what did they change? If they changed anything, what impact has that had on the business, or could it have on the business? So we're getting a lot of requests, and just to tell that, we are in the process of looking at providing or producing some audit reports. We already provide, dashboard packs and advanced report packs, and we're looking to produce a set of audit reports to support this as well. So we can let you know what the content would look like. If you've got anything you would like to input, then obviously let us know, because obviously we build these to meet what you need, what your needs are. But really it is something that we should be talking about. And as part of the tech audit as well, just to go back a slide, if we do, we would cover some of this off as well. It would be something that we start with. We start to look at really the users you've got, whether people are using, sysadmin. You shouldn't be, because you can't audit that. If people are logging in, undertaking actions as sysadmin, no one really knows who's doing that. If an auditor wanted to establish who that was, it would be very difficult to find out who that was, if something's changed, obviously. So we would obviously discourage use of it. We're not saying you delete it. You can't just delete a role like that, but obviously that we need to consider, if it is being used, why is it being used, and can we change it for you or help you change it? So these kind of discussions really should start to take place within all organisations. If it's not something you're looking at now, it really should be something you look at in the near future. Okay. Q&A and end of life. So we've been talking to you a lot about reporting recently and capabilities, and I will move on to some of this as we go through. Oh, sorry, Simon, did you want to add anything about RBAC before I go on to the next slide?
No, pretty much nailed it.
I kind of covered it, and yeah, cool, great. Okay, so Q&A. So some of you were using Q&A. Q&A was typically a Sun Systems product, but we had a connector for Proactis. We had we were able to interrogate the Proactis data, so we'd obviously built a connector for it. However, we now can't use that. So if your Sun system is moving into the cloud, then we are unable to use that connector. There are no further updates from our side, so we're not developing the Proactis data link or the Proactis connector. We will still support you if you do use it. If you are still accessing, Proactis data using the Q&A add-in, we will obviously still support you, but we won't be continuing development of that. There are other options out there, other utilities available to you. So if you want to interrogate the Proactis data, then we would encourage you to use advanced reporting. It's included in the software. I'm not going to say it's the most sophisticated of reporting solutions out there, but it is part of the inherent product. So it's free. And it's free. Yeah, exactly. It's included in your software license. So yeah, absolutely, you should be taking that on, and really gearing up to rewriting any reports you've got in Q&A, and really porting those over into advanced reporting. And just on that, obviously we've got advanced report packs as well. So obviously over time we've developed numerous reports for our clients, and we've packaged them together so we can deploy those onto your environment if that's something you're interested in. If you want to see those in a bit more detail, obviously let us know, reach out. We can send you some literature to show you what's included, or we can arrange a demo as well. As part of upgrades, we always include a half-a-day awareness of advanced reporting. So a little bit of a training session just to show you around the tool, because obviously it's free, it's your tool. And you're able to go in and create your own reports. So we do obviously offer that once clients are patching and they're taking that on as well. Not to forget the dashboards, obviously. You know, if you want to replicate any of the Q&A reports and it's suitable to do them in a dashboard, then that's obviously possible as well. There are other tools out there, obviously. There are BI tools that you can use, obviously maybe slightly more sophisticated than your Q&A. But if it is a conversation that you do need to have, then obviously please reach out to us and we can help you with that and point you in the right direction. Reporting is not just going to stop there. So we are looking at other utilities internally as well. So just we'll keep you posted as things develop there from a TSM perspective. Web PMC is something to be aware of, as we've noticed in the patches. I've mentioned it before, but as patches are released, Proactis are introducing functionality in the Web PMC only for certain areas. So it's some of the functionality is not being put in the thick client PMC. So, for example, certain user roles will be new user roles potentially that are released. Enabling you to do certain actions. You'll be able to access those from the Web PMC, but they just won't be visible in the thick client. They're just not really developing that tool. At some point, it will be end of lifed. We will keep you updated. Obviously, it's not just going to be like, surprise, we've patched you and you can't use your thick client PMC anymore. Obviously, we're very keen to keep you updated about everything. We're very good at communication here at TSM. But you do need to start familiarising yourself with the Web PMC. It's very important. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure you can access it. Make sure you know how to move around and navigate. There are some options that still aren't in there yet. So development is happening. It's happening quite quickly from what we can see, and things are moving across. But they have, just to touch on some of the new features, you can restrict, you can default departments based on delivery addresses now. There are additional user roles, so feel free to go through the user roles and have a look and compare them to the thick client and see the new bits that are in the Web PMC, predominantly around POs, but there are some extra niceties in there. Changing status of export failures. If you've got invoices stuck at release for payment in the Web PMC, you can remark them and flag them as cancelled or posted. If you want to, just to update the status and just remove them from the stack that's sitting there constantly. That's a feature, again, only available in the Web PMC. Export event overrides, that's something that's new, that's being released, that we are testing. So 25.3 is out, but we are not, I don't believe we're deploying it just yet because we're still carrying out some testing from our side. So we don't deploy patches unless we've tested them. If it's something you're thinking about doing yourselves, I would suggest you consult us before you go and install any patch. In some instances, we notice problems and we don't deploy a particular patch for whatever reason. So I would just say, please reach out if it's something you're thinking of doing yourselves. And that's just some of the Web PMC features. Obviously, it's not limited to that, but just to give you an indication of, you know, you do need to become familiar with it. I need to become familiar with it. I'm so used to the thick client PMC. It's very easy when you're used to something, but we need to move with the times. Just moving on slightly, e-invoicing. So e-invoicing is something that we've talked about quite a lot over the years. So there's lots of ways of obviously approaching getting invoices into the system. However, e-invoicing regulations are evolving across Europe, and I'll show you the map of what that looks like in a moment. There are new EU directives. I'm not sure if you're aware. There will be email communication coming out about this very shortly, if not today. If you haven't had it already, there will be communication coming out about this as well. Certain states, starting January 26, invoices will have to be pushed through a particular network for tax purposes. So certain authorities want to register the tax on the invoices. They want to ensure that organisations are reporting tax correctly. So it's happening across certain countries. It's starting with certain countries and it will be moving on. So we've got some dates. At the moment, it's more domestic invoices. So, for example, if you're in France and you've got domestic invoices, it would affect you from January 26. So any invoices that are being received or being sent would have to go through a particular network. There are various different networks, one of them being PEPL. I don't know if you might be familiar with it. But basically, it's going to be mandatory for certain countries. So what we have to make sure we do is we evolve with that. So if you have to push, if invoices are being pushed or pulled through a particular network, then Proactis can also have that data fed in to support you. So what we're doing from our side is we're working with a particular organisation. We've partnered with an organisation called Avalara, and we are building a connector. So we're building a connector between Avalara and Proactis. At the moment, it's for purchase invoices. At some point, hopefully it will extend to sales invoicing as well, but it will take invoices that have been pushed through the network, through the provider, for example, PEPL, using the Avalara Partners software. They're an approved partner in certain countries. And it will take the invoice and bring it through into Proactis, obviously validating it as it comes through as well. So we're in the process of working on that connector. It will be ready by January 26th. So obviously you will see communication coming out from us about this, but it doesn't just stop there. It's not just invoices registered in France. So we've got, this is just an example. PEPL is an example of the network. Depending on which country you're in, they may have different requirements and may use a different network, but Avalara is the partner that is accredited and sits in between. It can receive the invoices, and then at that point we would pull the information down and bring it into your ERP or your procurement solution or wherever you want the invoices to land, basically. So we're working on that connector. And just to switch through, so we can provide you with a copy of these slides. Obviously, they're always available to download from our website, I believe, or we can send you a link to them. But it shows you the countries and the mandates currently as of today. So we've got France and Germany. And if I just scroll through, we've got countries that will be on board at some point. I'm just going to scroll through. So Avalara, we've partnered predominantly with Avalara. We've chosen this partner because they're scalable. So they've got capabilities to take invoices in or push invoices out across lots and lots of different countries. There are smaller providers out there, but they don't have the capabilities that Avalara do. And Avalara extends further than just reading invoices. They've got other utilities as well that you may want to think about exploring in relation to tax and reporting. I know some clients have asked me about reverse charge reporting, etc. They do have capabilities. So if it's something you are interested in and you want to have more information about, then please let us know. Please contact us and we can introduce you to somebody at Avalara. We can make that introduction and you can continue to have discussions with them. So some of the countries again planned for 2025, 26. If you're processing domestic invoices within those regions, then obviously again you might need to reach out to us so we can start conversations about that. Okay. What else is on the way? So what else have we been working on? So our integration team, our integration specialists have been working on import data utilities. So we do get questions often about importing invoices and orders. We obviously can integrate into third-party applications. That's never an issue. But sometimes users just want the ability to just punch something into a spreadsheet and import it in, or they receive spreadsheets from suppliers and they want to import them in. And we can do that for both orders and invoices. So we've developed an import utility that can help with that if that's something you're interested in. Obviously, you know, I'm very keen to always say that, you know, we do champion invoice capture solutions, whether it's Proactis's invoice capture or ICAT. Those utilities are brilliant. They're fantastic at bringing data into the system, but they might not fit every single instance. You know, they might do 90% and then 10% of the invoices you might think need to find an alternate way of bringing them into the system. So some people register them manually, some people import them, but we do have capabilities available. So again, please reach out if there are conversations that you would like to have with us, and have a look at that import utility so we can arrange a demo for that. Proactis Insights. So we talked a bit about reporting earlier and replacing Q&A and Proactis' advanced reporting, which is free because it's included in your license. Proactis are also releasing, it's called Proactis Insights. They're releasing phase 1 of Proactis Insights. It's a BI tool. There will be an option that sits inside Proactis on the menu. From what I've gathered, I've seen a bit of a demo of it as well today. There are different phases of Insights. So I believe phase 1 will give you the ability to look at spend information, compliance, budget information, some invoicing information, and it allows you to it's almost like a dashboard really, but you can really filter the data, so you can slice and dice it and display it in various different ways. It will be part of phase 1, will be part of the inherent product as far as I've understood, but it's for cloud implementation. So if Proactis is hosted on the cloud, then you will have access to phase 1 of Insights. As future phases are released, which allow you further analysis and intelligence as well. But apparently it's not all about looking at what you've got in the system now. It enables you to foresee potentially what's coming and trends as well. Okay, so if that's something you're interested in, obviously again reach out and let us know, and we can have more conversations with you about it. But it's not released yet, it's not here yet. The plan is November, but that might just slip slightly. Obviously it just depends on testing, etc. But as we know more information, we'll obviously let you know. And Rego Kai, we've talked about, I think, have we mentioned Rego Kai? It enables intelligent coding of invoices using AI, really. You will see when you start to download the latest patches, 25.3, you will start to see reference about Rego Kai. There are settings appearing in the web PMC. So I thought it important that I let you know about some of this, so you're not just completely surprised and wonder what this is. But yes, so Rego Kai is a new module that Proactis are releasing, which allows you to, so as you're coding your direct invoice, it presents you with codes based on trends and data that you've entered previously for that supplier or that template. So rather than you having to code every invoice manually, think about the codes, it will provide you with codes, I believe, using a traffic light system. So you can see how accurate the data is that it's trying to present you with, and you can choose to use those codes, or obviously you can override it. So it is coming. It's a new module, so don't be surprised if you see reference to it. As and when I have something to show you and I've got a demo available, then we will arrange that. We'll arrange that as a webinar, and we'll show you how that actually works. And if you want any more information, obviously, as always, contact your account manager, or you can obviously reach out to me as well if you want to have more conversations about that. As far as I know, it will extend to orders as well as invoices, but as I said, as we know more, we will let you know more as well. Okay. So it's a quite quick session today. I'm not going to keep you too long, not the full hour. I know I talk too much, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet today. And we've covered quite a lot this year. So I think we've covered quite a lot this year. We've obviously talked about product updates. Reporting is something we keep talking about. It's very important that we keep on top of what we're doing. It's just a matter of putting data in the system. We need to be able to get the data out again, and we need to be able to look at trends, and we need to be able to see where we can make improvements. We need to look at our spend, see if we can improve who we're spending with and how we're doing it, and really how we're using the system. So it's not just about looking at what we've got in there right now. Invoice automation, again, is something we've been talking about a lot, really streamlining your processes and taking the pain away from having someone to try and sit in there and enter an invoice manually. I mean, why do that when you've got all these sophisticated utilities now that can do it for you, and also validate the data on the way in. Supplier management and contract management, we continue to have lots of conversations with our clients about this. Obviously, clients are very keen to ensure they've got full contract visibility. They know who they're spending with. They're only spending with their preferred suppliers on contract, and there's no maverick spend. So it's a big conversation to have. And as I said, you know, we're continually talking to our clients about this. If it's something you're interested or we need to have conversations, then obviously please reach out. And invoice capture we looked at in the last session, just to follow on with invoice automation. So today, obviously, we're talking about product updates. We've covered quite a few different things. It's a bit of a different approach to the webinars this time round, but it's important things that you do need to be aware of. That we do need to touch on, that we are going to be communicating to you about. So obviously, as you receive correspondence from us or newsletters from us, please read them. If you're not getting them, let us know. They generally come out, I think, once a month. And if you're not getting anything, let us know. Sometimes they get trapped. Mimecast is guilty of that a lot of the time. So yeah, so just let us know. Drop-in sessions also. Our drop-in sessions are changing. I know some of you join on a Friday at 10:30. They're changing to Wednesdays at 11:30. So Wednesdays 11:30 till 12. If you've got any questions, or if your users have got questions. So I know currently we are, you know, we're communicating with the admins in the system, and that's fine. But you know, sometimes it's nice to get the message out there to your user base that, you know, TSM can help with maybe offload. You know, we know you've got a heavy workload already. In the event that we do get your end users contacting us, obviously we'll let yourselves know, the admins, make you aware of the kind of questions that are coming through. But yeah, please feel free to send the invite out into the wider business for them to join the drop-in sessions. We're here to help, really. And take the pressure off you as well. And our customer day. So our customer day is coming up. If you haven't signed up already, please feel free to sign up. Here's a quick look at some of the agenda items. There will be breakout sessions as well, obviously, where you can talk to the specialists. The majority of us are going to be there. So it's always lovely to see you and meet you in person. But we will be talking about AI in procurement. And really how it can help your processing and your business. Risks, obviously, you know, that we've had lots of conversations about risks within business. I think some of the things we've touched on today really highlight that. Cloud strategies and obviously spend analysis reporting. That's a key topic. Okay, it's at the Novotel Hotel in London. So if you haven't registered, please feel free to. If you don't know how, then obviously reach out and let us know, and we can send you a link to register, or you can just again contact your account manager. I don't think I've missed anything. Louise or Simon, any?
No, I think it's good. Thank you. It's great. Just to let you know that the link for the customer day is also just been dropped into this chat. So if you just follow that link and sign up, that'd be great.
Okay, brilliant. Any questions at all? Or, you know, obviously these webinars are run for yourselves. They're to make you aware of what's happening, what's coming, you know, what you need to know about. If there's a particular topic that you would like for us to cover, then obviously let us know. And we can take that on board. Okay.
There's no questions in the chat, just to let you know.
Fantastic. Great. Okay. So if you don't want to ask in the chat and you want to take it offline, obviously feel free to contact Louise or myself or Simon even, and we can help you out with any questions you might have. All right. Thank you all for joining.